All right, Gemini. So this week from Lay Vampire, compassion, empathy, simpatico, and kindness. And then from Chakra Wisdom, insecurity. The very first thing that I picked up on this was, for some of you, you're going to have somebody unexpected coming through that's going to have compassion for you. But I think that there's going to be a part of you that may be feeling insecure. And I worry that some of you may not allow somebody to be there for you because of your own insecurities, because compassion very specifically talks about somebody unexpected coming through to show you compassion who you didn't think would have compassion for you. Now, on the other hand, though, it does talk about, you needing to show compassion to others as well, but your insecurities may be blocking you. Insecurity, the very first thing for this says, the greatest adversary is the one living inside me. So, you're blocking yourself here. It is about facing your own demons and getting over those insecurities and finding courage, inner courage, right? All right, Gemini. Here's your overall for the week. The Six of Cups. Okay. So, and with the Ten of Cups falling out, absolutely, it could be, reconnecting with family members, right? Now, with the Six of Cups, immediately the past. But I love this Six of Cups, though, because it looks so happy. And like I've said before, when we focus on the past, you have to be careful about what you're bringing into the present moment, right? Because whatever you're thinking about today, you will manifest tomorrow. Now, it could definitely be something or someone from the past coming through, and maybe you didn't expect them to have compassion for you, right? In your past, temperance, boy, all right, so sad showing up, but with temperance, when I see that as the past coming through, I think, okay, so in the past, they have been extremely patient with a person or a situation, the equilibrium, right, getting that balance between the way you're thinking and feeling, moderation, but I've been patient with this, and are you still needing to pull on that now? Oh boy, I don't know what the hell it is. I swear to God. Oh, in the present, the Two of Cups. Now we can definitely be talking about somebody from the past who, may be wanting to have, a better connection with you, right? We could definitely be talking about a relationship, but we could also be talking about family members, business partners, right? It just depends on your situation. But the Two of Cups in the present moment is about seeing eye to eye with another person, and possibly a person from the past. Somebody that there's history with. And for some of you, with temperance being there, you may be in a place now where you feel a little bit more balanced and more, open here to having this connection. But we'll see, right? Oh boy. In future conditions, the Knight of Cups. So yeah, we could definitely be talking about somebody from the past coming back through as far as a relationship and making an offer, or somebody that you have a history with. Now with the Six of Cups being the overall, besides the past coming back through, for a lot of you, it could be that your focus is back on the past and this feeling of temperance, especially if you have an offer coming through. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's a past person or a past relationship. You may be looking back at temperance and going, I need to get myself balanced. I had it before. This is coming through now. I need to make sure that, I'm not just throwing moderation out the window. And wanting to have this connection based on, the Knight of Cups coming through, right? The messenger of love and romance, but it could just simply be an offer though, too, right? Something that's going to make you happy, where you have this chance here to be on the same page with somebody else. Your best path to follow, the Six of Pentacles. I see that as a good thing. I do. And you've got these sixes going on here. It's meeting somebody halfway. That seems to be coming up a lot for you with this one, right? The equal give and take. For some of you, it's that you need to be open to receiving this. But, for me, it goes both ways. You have to be willing to give to this, though, too. But before, you can accept this, it's like you need to see something, though. You need to see that they're willing to give, the equal amount, right? Meet me halfway. Meet me halfway. In your environment. The Fool. Oh my goodness. Okay. And with the Two of Cups being there, yeah. And with the Knight of Cups, this absolutely could be about you making this offer, or it could be, somebody else here. But with the Fool and the Two of Cups, you're ready to jump. You're ready to jump into a new connection here. And again, right, like I can't stress this enough. To me, these are generals. So you have to apply it where it fits if it is your message. So this could be about, the romantic relationship, which is possible, or we're talking about, the business partnership. But still, the Two of Cups is an emotional connection between two people, but it could also be about what is going to be a good fit for you. Now, with the Fool being connected to that, yeah, like I said, it's wanting to jump on it, right? But you're still looking back at the past going, yeah, we need to settle down. We need to just simmer down here before, you take that leap, right? But are you throwing that moderation and that equilibrium that you have found in the past out the window? And that may be why your advice is you got to see something first. Show me the money, right? Your hopes and your fears, the Three of Pentacles. To me, this is, beyond work. We're talking about making something work. How are we going to make this work? And definitely collaboration. And then you have the Two of Cups there. But I look at the Three of Pentacles and, it's working with someone toward the common goal, right? There's also if you're talking about work, hoping that they see, your skill and your talent. But I think more so that this is, how do we make this work together? I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. The fear is that you're going to be the only one working on it. The new offer, the new connection. But, still, still, I got to see something. But I think that some of you right now are like, yes, and where the hell did Temperance go? And then coming out the Knight of Swords, damn, why? I think based on the way that, this is being offered to you, that's where the Knight of Swords is coming through. Now, absolutely, we could talk about you being a little bit too hasty, but I'm looking at, these messengers, right? Because just as much as pages, but the actions. And here with the Knight of Swords, I see you like meeting this with this energy of, okay, look, let's put all the cards out on the table. Tell me straight up what's happening, what's up, right? Communicating very directly about what you expect to see here. But then it's funny because there's that other half of you that's like, yes, let's do this, And then karma or judgment, damn. All right. So here's what I'm seeing with this. Now with the Eight of Pentacles, definitely, you don't want to be the only one that's putting in all the hard work here, because you're talking about working with someone needing equal give and take. Absolutely, right? Now, when you're looking at the Ten of Wands, and the other thing though too with the Eight of Pentacles, let me just go back to this for a lot of you. It's, I've put a lot of time and effort here into getting, some balance into my life. I don't want to just jump on something new here if I'm going to be left, doing everything. With the Ten of Wands though too, looking back at the Two of Cups and the Fool, it could be that this is something that's just like really overwhelming to you. the fact that somebody from the past may be coming back through, or the fact that this is happening at all. It's like, wait a minute, and some of you may have like a lot of responsibilities on you right now, especially if we're talking about work and not wanting to be the only one that's doing that. Now, when you're looking at karma or judgment coming out, to me, it's like you're being asked to review things, right? And the past being brought back up. Now, if we're talking about, this being a past person, or, even a past job coming back through, and it looks like, it's going to be a good fit for you. It's what you want to do. You want to jump on it. But, there are things in the past that you've had to like kind of stop and get your balance on. Karma in judgment is like, okay, so we need to review this and we need to assess this and look at it differently. It's not so much like a Seven of Pentacles type thing here, but it's really about putting a close to the past, right? Because after this, you move into the world where there is that door closing. But, you're still going to have to look at things here. Now, in connection to the Knight of Swords, to me, it's like, all right, the past is what it is. It's definitely something coming back up. But the only way to move forward is to close the door on, the past, right? And it's not that the past was difficult, but, you don't need to hang on to this feeling of you're going to lose your balance if you jump on this, is what I feel like more than anything, because of the Ten of Wands being there and it being an overwhelming thing, But still, like, whatever it is that's being offered to you, I feel like you're meeting it head on with that Knight of Swords. Like, look, especially if we're talking about a past relationship coming up, which I'm sorry, but I'm just so sick of seeing. I'm so sick of seeing, right? But, this shit happens for a reason, and maybe you didn't expect this person to, come back through and have compassion for you. And there may still be a lot of insecurity surrounding this for you, going back to the Oracle cards. But, it is what it is with karma, right? And you need to accept that, if you have this new offer coming through. I mean, I don't blame you for being like really direct, like, look, show me the money, right? All right, rebirth, right? And again, you got karma, you got the Six of Cups. This is a chance for a rebirth on a situation, a relationship, a rebirth for you, right? But there needs to be acceptance that, the past is the past. It is what it is. If you want to open up a new chapter here, you have to definitely communicate what you expect to see. But, it is what it is. Now, compassion, that's the other thing, though. Accepting compassion from others. But then also, right, compassion and needing to have compassion for yourself. Especially if you're feeling insecure about this whole situation. Spiritual connection. Geez, Gemini. Yeah, if we're talking about a relationship, my God. This relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. And then you have the Six of Cups, right? History. There's history there. And on a spiritual level, shit. Wow, Gemini, I'm looking at this and I feel like for a lot of you, this is an opportunity here to have something really, really good. Really, really good. There's not just the emotional connection, but you're looking at things in a practical way, though, too, with the Pentacles showing up on this. But, right, like, I don't blame you. Like, I still feel like some of you are going to meet this head on, like, look, you're going to have to show me. But the fact that you have, this kind of connection going on for a lot of you, this is going to be a very, very significant thing coming back through for some of you. All right, Gemini, so the first thing I want to do looking at this is go to, the work aspect here. We could definitely be talking about, there being something from the past coming through, looking at the Two of Cups. It could be, a previous partnership, something that you're wanting to jump back on here. I do think that there's an offer coming through. And then I think that you're meeting it head on here with the Knight of Swords. And, again, if we're talking about work with the Eight of Pentacles and then the Three being your hopes and fears and looking at the Ten of Wands, it's like, look, these are my skill sets. I want you to see this. And I don't want to be busting my ass like I was before because, I have more experience this time. But, again, I have to go with the relationship aspect here because of what I'm looking at. And then especially with Whispers of Love. My God. All right. This to me looks like, and I am so tired of saying it. But, this shit happens for a reason, right? It's something that is coming back up. Now, it could definitely be a relationship from the past that you're dealing with again. But, it could just be that this is a person that you have history with. Now, if we're looking at the past and you're looking at temperance, like I said, for some of you, it could just be that you're looking back at the past and hoping that, you can continue this balance here because it looks like you're wanting to jump head first here with this connection, this relationship. Right? But that's only because there is definitely an offer coming through. I don't think that this is you making it because I see you coming out here meeting it head on like, look, right? Show me the money. Because with your advice, we're definitely talking about equal give and take in this partnership for sure. And then you hoping and fearing over the Three of Pentacles, hoping that, there's going to be equal work being put into this relationship, but then also fearing that you're going to be the only one working on this. I do feel like there is a lot of pressure on you when it comes to this because of the Ten of Wands. And then looking at the Eight of Pentacles, I do think that, there's going to have to be a lot of effort put into this, but then, again, you don't want to be the only one. But then also I do feel like, there's that feeling of pressure to make it work though too. But then I still see you with the Knight of Swords being like straight up and direct about what you expect here as far as this equal give and take. Now with karma coming out on this, absolutely you're being asked to look at the past, right? I mean, obviously here with the Six of Cups being the overall, but you're being forced now to review some things that may have happened, right? Whether that's your separate past from this or whether it's, about a relationship from the past coming through. But, looking at compassion and insecurity, it's like, I think that for a lot of you, you feel insecure with this situation, especially if we're talking about a past relationship coming up and then compassion, not expecting that person to understand, but they do, and looking at the soul trees, right? Rebirth. And you have the Six of Cups and then looking at judgment, but then acceptance, right? Accepting that the past is what it is, but then accepting compassion though too, right? Accepting that compassion from this person. Because looking at Whispers of Love, we're talking about true love and spiritual connection. The connection that you have with this person is like, wow, this is big. There's definitely history there, that again goes beyond this lifetime. I think you have every right to speak up about the fact that there's going to have to be a lot of hard work put into this, and then not only that, but you've put in a lot of hard work to maintain, your own balance here with temperance as the past coming through. You don't want to be, weighed down or pressured to do this. But then also, I feel like this is still something that you want because of the Fool connected to the Two of Cups, wanting to jump on that relationship. I would just say, Gemini, that, if this is what you're dealing with in terms of relationships, then yeah, absolutely, you should expect to see something being given to this, something being put forth. It looks like, that it's something that you want. It's just that there's going to have to be a lot of hard work put in, but you can't be the only one doing that this time.